Yo, welcome to Crate 808, and today we're speaking on a classic New York rap record with some of my favourite voices in the hip-hop universe. Yes, we've got Zilla Rocca, Curly Castro and Alaska from the Call Out Culture podcast in the house. How are you doing, boys?
What's up?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Thank you for having us.
That's a great intro. That's better than ours. Thank you.
Terrible.
We got to sample. We're gonna sample that. We're just gonna put it on ours. If you don't mind.
Yo, everything
Absolutely,
sounds
man.
good. When British people say it, you just sound way doper.
Oh, man.
Straight up.
I was going to say it's the other way around usually when it comes to hip-hop podcasts, but yeah, I appreciate that. Seriously though, that the podcast you're doing, for people who haven't heard it, go out there. The details, we'll put it all in the description and stuff, but some of the chats you're having are great, but I think I know the moment I fell in love with your podcast, and I think it was on a Griselda episode, but you got basically started power ranking land animals. And
yes,
and that's the moment where I thought, I'm not getting this anywhere else. I'm not getting Griselda chat, and then people telling me what they prefer, a cheetah or an eagle, or was it? I can't remember what it was, but
I think I was pro turtle. I think I was big on the turtle because the turtle always has his home with them.
Yes,
So I don't know what I picked for that. A vulture,
So,
whatever.
I think
what I'm getting from this
pro
conversation
cheetah,
is you appreciate the episodes that I'm not on.
Oh no.
Yeah, he was not on that.
I don't appreciate that one. That's the moment I knew I was like, wow, these guys are different. But no, man, generally, the MC Hammer chats, the cannabis chats, all that stuff, I'm sure we'll dive in later as we go. But guys, you're on the pods for the first time. We've been trying to hook this up for a while. So I need to ask you what I ask every guest that comes on. Guys, what is the least hip-hop thing you guys have done in the last 24 hours? If you've got anything.
I ate a piece of focaccia bread.
Nice.
So there you go. That's
nice.
not hip hop. It was very dry. It was very dry.
Nothing on it?
No, it was trash.
I paid a bill. Paying bills ain't hip hop.
Paying bills. I've been there.
It's not hip hop. I paid the bill.
I cleaned out my daughter's guinea pig cage. It's definitely not hip hop.
No, that ain't. Okay, I like it. It's a nice varied thing. They've got some cuisine in there.
I challenge that. Like, I think A$AP Rock could make a song about cleaning out a guinea pig cage.
Facts.
Has he used that in his vocab?
Sure, but
has he used
until you've actually smelled what a guinea pig cage smells like when it hasn't been cleaned for a week, that's when you realize it can't be hip hop.
I know Aesop's probably used the words guinea pig though somewhere at some point.
Drier than a guinea pig cage. Spinning me in rage, whatever. Yeah.
Let's go. But guys, we asked you to guys, to come on and talk about the pod, but obviously bring an album as well to talk about. And you guys had a little think. And today we're talking about Jeru the Damaja's debut, The Sun Rises in the East, 1994. I mean, first of all, why this album, man? What was it about it that you thought, let's chop it up?
One of y'all want to go first? I'll be pretty raging on this. So y'all can.
I think Alaska could throw this one.
I mean, I think it's like one of the unheralded albums of the era. Like it kind of just falls through the crack, and it's better than pretty much every other album that came out during that period of time, or at least on par with every other album that came out during that time. And it still holds up. Like it holds up a lot more than a lot of records that are considered classic from that era. At least to me, and it's short. It's only like 33 minutes, which is important.
I think it's only 10 real songs and like 3
It is.
skits.
Yeah, like 2 instrumental skits and then 1 talking joint.
Perfect cassette album.
Yeah.
There's no fast forwarding really.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a companion piece to Illmatic because of that. Like just the perfect length. You could put each one on a 45 minutes, on a 90-minute cassette, one on each side. You don't have to worry about cutting any songs.
Damn, I never thought of it.
You can even throw a bonus track on there if you need to.
That is true.
But on the real,
put Crooklyn Dodgers on.
Crooklyn Dodgers.
Jeru side.
Yeah, put that Pete Rock
and then
remix.
Live from the Barbecue on the on the Nas side.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Or
you're
Kick
right.
'Em in the Grill from MC Search, because I think that that's the classic that everybody remembers Nas from.
Nice. I like
I don't
that.
know what you're talking about. I don't know that shit.
I was going to say that's interesting you say that because obviously Illmatic and that it's the same time and stuff like that. Preemo doing Preemo. I was wondering about that time when you guys came across this record the first time. If you give me a bit of context, like what was the scene like? What was the hype like for Jeru at that time? Because I know he dropped Come Clean and then this dropped. But for you guys, what was the context for this record? If you know what I mean.
Castro, you jump first with this one.
I mean, Jeru was like a Brooklyn superhero. You know what I'm saying? And then he also willingly took on the supervillain role of going up against all of the shiny, glitterati and shit at that time. So he was in direct competition with Nas and Biggie and anybody else of that time. And he said it on wax. And he was like, Brooklyn is back, because there was other boroughs getting live around that time. But I remember Jeru was like a reclamation project for all us Brooklynites and stuff. He was coming with the intelligence, but still the rugged, dirty, rotten, and all of that stuff. It was big for Brooklyn. I'll say that much, because it was showing you competing efforts in Brooklyn to make claims, and that was Biggie and him. Nas and other New Yorkers were bubbling, but it was between Biggie and him, and they actually reference each other on record.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen that Biggie picture of him with a Jeru top on. They must have been quite close at one point, I'm assuming, because he was repping his top, unless it's a Photoshop situation. But I was on Insta one day and I was like, oh, damn, that's Biggie wearing a Jeru top. That's mad. But yeah, I mean, that's big for Brooklyn. How about you other guys? What were you feeling before this came out?
Well, he was also coming off of like 2 amazing Gang Starr appearances on Bust Your Shit off of Daily Operation, and I think it was I'm the Man off of Daily Operation, and Speak Your Clout off of Hard to Earn, and it was just like, Jesus Christ, this kid's killing it. And then he drops Come Clean, and then the original, I think, was the second single. So it was just like, this dude's fucking bananas. Preemo's at the height of his powers during this era. So it was like, I don't know, to me, it was like the perfect rap record when it came out. It didn't get sort of the hype that I think a lot of other stuff that came out around that time got. It kind of seems like it, in a way, like sort of lost ground to maybe, was Illmatic 94 or was that 93?
Yeah, this was all around the same time. I feel like
that came out. I think Midnight Marauders was around the same time.
It got taken out of these by the Source. If you remember, the Source didn't really like pump it up with the other ones of that time. They gave it like 3.5, but it was like a middling review. So it wasn't like lauded like the other ones of that time.
Interesting.
I think it's some of Preemo's best production on this record.
It is.
Yeah.
It's his last good go around.
Yeah, and it's like it's
group home.
It allowed him to get a little weirder than he normally gets with Gang Starr too. Like Gang Starr is very sort of
metronome,
one pocket, it's boom, boom, and then he was sampling Water Drops. Like he was on some fucking Timberland shit before Timberland. So it was like,
the run on this album from Can't Stop the Prophet on that's also like the beginning of like strong runs in the album. Can't Stop the Prophet. Then it's the Perverted Monk theme, and then Ain't the Devil Happy, and then Come Clean. You know what I'm saying?
And Mind Spray. And Mind Spray.
And Mind Spray.
Jungle music.
So look,
I think Static's like the worst one.
And Static's amazing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I think that's like the worst beat. The worst beat to me is Static.
Yeah.
But even had like
Static can bother you because you might not like the sound. You give it because if a song was just cricket sounds, you don't like crickets, you can't like the song, right? So you don't think that's it?
I'm just saying, like it's like to me, my favorite song was Jungle Music, but before that, it's like there's so many
Mind Spray. You're lying.
Up until that, that was Jungle Music.
Spray.
But
you used to talk Mind Spray all the time. What you talking about?
Because that's because Ray and Rock Marcery did it. Spray. My Mind Spray. Over to Ray West Beach. Shouts to Ray.
Another thing that compares to Illmatic to me is he had his AZ companion on Mental Stamina. Afu Ra. And it was like, who also never lived up to the hype of that initial like introduction.
World went through cities, Mark. World went through cities, dog.
Body of the life force. Microphone check 1 2. Yeah,
but definitely, I agree with you. Having the one feature who's like, who's this guy too? Like it's like that, you know what I'm saying? And then you looking for his material. Of course, I bought all his material strictly. I mean, come on, let's stop playing. It was this, and he's on RAF too, right? He's on RAF. He makes an appearance on RAF.
Yeah, I think he should be. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
See, that's interesting because for me, I do love the back end of this album. But like you say, it's top and tail. It's very fucking good. But like, I remember the original when that came out, because I think Come Clean was the first time I really heard anything like that. And I don't even know if I appreciated it because it was so different. And I was like, this is too. But the original, I was like, this sample is like, I couldn't really figure how to put it. And I was like, it's like a guy playing keys with his knuckles or some shit. Because it's like, it doesn't work.
Nice.
It shouldn't work, right? Like, and yeah, that I remember that being something where I was like, that's just filthy. And then I remember the first time I ever heard Mental Stamina and that kind of intro they give to Mental Stamina, and then that beat, that's my track. I love,
And then they just take off.
And there's no stopping. And also, this is the era of 3 verses. You're going to get 3 verses on these songs. So I was listening back. I was like, oh, man, here we go again. Like, after the hook, I was like, well, buckle up. I'm not used to that.
It's true.
You got a long ride coming, yo. You got the sandwiches in the foil. You need sandwiches and foil and little juice boxes to listen to these
You got to get a
songs,
Ziploc with pickles in it.
a little mini cooler, because you went for a ride, man. I might...
Need a thermos with
I'm talking
soup.
at the end, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking at the end. And there's the intro. I'm talking. I was like, oh god, is that? Funny enough, it's I just can't. You know, it's just like my kryptonite is like 4 verse songs.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I can't do.
He's a nihilist. So.
But that's interesting, man. I was going to say the fact that you talked about Preemo there. We've got to go into Preemo on this album. Obviously, I agree with you. It is so strange but brilliant. But before that, I was thinking about Jeru as a rapper. What for you guys was he doing different to what other people were doing? What would you say what he was bringing to the scene or the table, if you know what I mean?
His flow was the unorthodox.
Freaky flow.
He said it, and then the starting and the stopping of it. It's like we have a champion of that now, like a person in total mastery of their flow. If you want to compare it to like air benders or water benders, these cats are like word benders. They're gonna make. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna use the other part to finish. He's doing a lot of that, just cutting words down. Lucid, shout out to Gutter. He's a master word bender at this point in his career. And Jeru was like an originator of that. Like he was like trying to coin style. Like if you had one of those ancient Chinese, I hope I'm getting the right thing with the stamps, with the wax, with the the Chinese warlords when they would stamp it with their insignia, and then you send it off with the raven or whatever. Like that's what this cat was doing. He it was like a big Brooklyn stamp with the Brooklyn Bridge on it, like pull off. You know what I'm saying? When you're by yourself and you could really zone out to it. It was like seance music to me. I really got into Jeru.
Damn.
Yeah, and he wasn't like the most like complex stylistically either. Right? There was like a simplification to it, but like not a simplification like ABC 1, 2, 3. It's like
he was dissing cats
not
like that.
Not hiding it behind technique and style. Like it wasn't like, I'm throwing in extra words, I'm throwing in syllables to make something happen. I'm being very straightforward with what I'm saying. But it's a little unorthodox still in the way that it's going. Like what Castro was saying, like the flows and the pockets he was finding were way different than anybody had done previously.
Straight up.
I mean, maybe Cool Keith with his on-beat, off-beat type of shit that he had for a while, but
if Guru is the main guy on Preemo's Magic Carpet, and then you hear somebody like Jeru, you're like, oh, okay, we're going and we're hitting another chamber.
He's the scenic route versus the main street.
Good point. Yeah, like his pockets on My Mind Spray, where he kind of changes the flow. He gets like super rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, and then he kind of scales back. Like Guru, to me, like Guru, is the classic, clearly premier dude. But I think to me, Jeru is a better rapper than Guru because Jeru, like Alaska said, can do the scenic route, and while he's so confident. Like that delivery and that voice is like, don't fuck with me.
My words are like Moses. My words are Moses out this bitch. Like seriously, like there's lightning strikes.
Even on his debut, he doesn't like. What I thought was fascinating about listening to both albums back to back before we did this call was there is not a big leap from Sunrises to Wrath of the Math, where you're like, oh, now he's figuring it out. He went from 20 to 24 years old or 24 to 28. He sounds pretty much like the same guy, but he sounded like that on Speak Your Clout to me too. Like he seemed fully formed, ready to go.
Yeah.
The first time you heard this dude rap, and then 2 years later, and then 2 years later, which is pretty astounding considering like Guru didn't sound like that on the first 2 Gang Starr albums compared to the second 2, compared to the next 2. And so I thought it was really cool hearing this guy. And like even Afu, to me, Afu sounded like that also. Afu sounded like really confident and sharp for whatever he was learning being around these dudes. But I just was thinking about it playing them both today. I'm like, I just think he had so much. And again, I think the brevity of it, like him only doing really 10 songs with 3 interludes. It's like, here's all I have to say. Everything I'm saying is fully formed. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of different flows. Album's over. You can keep going back to it rather than, you know, I skip track 4, I skip track 9, I skip track 12, 13, I skip track 18 to get to like the ones I love. I think it was like, he had a very clear vision, you know what I mean, compared to other people that were just happy to be there on a premiere beat, maybe.
Yeah. That's so interesting when you say he's fully formed, because it is. There is no like growth. Because I was like, well, there doesn't need to be growth because it's so fucking good straight away. And that's what's cool about it. Because I was listening to him in an interview the other day, and he was like, where did that style come from? And he was like, well, me and Preemo sitting around all day. He was in all them sessions with obviously Illmatic and D&D, he's just in there. But he was like, I just molded my rhymes to the beats that we both loved. And you're like, what an interesting way to land on what turns out to be an amazing flow, you know? Yeah, really mad. I was actually going to ask you then about like the fact that you've said there he was so clear and concise. I don't know how that was for you guys, but for me, I was coming from a West Coast fan. So Cube was like huge for me because I got everything. I get everything you're saying. But when Woo and Ghost and Deck
It was a big clarity to Cube rhyming in sentences, full sentences, beginning, middle, end, very much classic storyteller, like, you know, novelist type shit.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. And then when you hear this guy going, I think he calls Hercules Heracles or something. The way he says
Heracles.
Heracles, yeah.
He says Heracles, yeah.
What's that he says again where he says Mr. Fantastis? And he goes, you mean Mr. Fantastic? And he's like, don't matter, you get your ass kicked.
Oh, he definitely left. Yeah, he left him.
I'm fantastic. You mean fantastic.
Fantastic.
You'll get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's character right there, man. Like that, you know, you needed that.
The confidence. What Zilla's saying, like there was always a very, not just a mist, a very big fog billowing of confidence around Jeru. Like he stepped on the scene fully formed, like let's get it. And he was dissing cats, and not in the way of like disrespecting them, like, yo, I'm here too. And Brooklyn's, that's why I was big. I always say it was big for Brooklyn, and we taking our spot back. I don't know what the hell was going on. He one of them cats. I don't know what was going on before I got here, whatever, but fade all that. Yo, this is the dirty rotten. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't talking that foundation shit. He was talking dirty rotten. And I'm pretty sure he had some other MCs. I just can't remember. Did he have some other MCs that roll with him besides Afu?
I don't know.
I think he did, but I don't know if he ever put them on tracks.
If they put, yeah. He might have name dropped them, or if they were in the liner notes, maybe, or something like that. Yeah, but you're right. I'm just thinking he had like a dirty round crew.
Because that got me daydreaming about his crew at the time. Because again, you were talking about Biggie and him wearing, I was saying I saw that Jeru top, but there was another thing I heard him say, that thing where Biggie loved the Brooklyn track on here and wanted to be in the video. He was like, you release this as a video, I'll just put me in. I ain't gonna be doing anything. I'm just gonna be standing there and just looking like Biggie, you know? And that, I was like,
I'm pretty sure
imagine that.
Big Shug was part of the Jeru, right?
No, he was part of the Gang Starr Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're going to jump into Preemo in a minute. This might just dovetail into it. But if I say to you guys, come clean, what's the first thing that comes to your minds?
Just like this, looking up and realizing what Chinese water torture is, and thinking of it in the hip hop sense. Like thinking of it, you know, in the video, and this water just dropping. Like, what is it doing? It's gonna penetrate you? How long you gotta sit there? And like, and it's one of Premier's top 3 beats he's ever created.
I'm with you.
Yeah, the first thing I think of is bloom, bloom, bloom.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
I love that.
It's in my head. There's a cleanness to it and like a depth to the sound that's not in many other beats that I hear. It's like, there's something just.
And it's so simple yet fatal. It's so simple yet fatal. You know what I'm saying? It's so fatal, but it's just the simplest thing. And Alaska, tell me this. It seems like an idea, and other producers was like, shit. Like, Like, damn it. Like, he beat me to that. I have this record sitting right here. You know what I'm saying? And I told myself I would get to it 2 weeks before, but goddamn it, that Preemo, it sounds like one of those things.
That's a Jeru thing, though, bro. Like, Jeru chose that.
That's what I'm saying.
All of these premiere beats that have been out in the world for 35 years, that's the one 99 of the rappers would be like, skip that. Go something else.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder how many rappers passed on that.
Correct.
Yeah, right. We hear those stories. That's so ill. Like, who had it first type shit.
Right.
And when you're talking about like the producers who had that sound and didn't know what to do with it, I think of the same thing with like Missy's "I Can't Stand the Rain."
Wow.
Oh God.
Yes.
That's like such, when you hear that, you're like, oh my God, how did nobody else sample this before?
Yeah.
Right. It was sitting right there for people probably and rapping, or maybe a rapper's like, I can't really rap on that because it was that a typical, you know what I'm saying, rap track. Mitch is like, fuck that, I got this. I'm gonna be Janis Joplin out that bitch, and that's what she was. That's what it reminded me of, some Janis Joplin shit.
Your analogies are killing it right now, bro. I'm loving these. Yo. Just interrupting this episode to give you a quick update on our plans for 2021. But before I do, just remember to subscribe on YouTube and like this video. Also, get involved in the comments. We always have some dope takes on there. So shout out to people that are getting involved. We love reading them, and hopefully some more of you guys can get on there and we'll shout you out on the episodes coming up. Now, on to 2021. We here at Crate 808 are setting up a Patreon where for the price of a pint or a coffee every month, we'll be bringing you even more dope hip-hop episodes. Simply go to crate808.com, subscribe to the newsletter, you'll get all the updates on our plans, but as a taster, each month we're thinking of bringing you 90s rap hidden gem album reviews that you can vote for. So if you enjoy people like Master Ace, Diamond D, The Lynch Mob, Paris, Big Noid, Blase, we'll be doing a lot more of those. We're going to do our Why I Love series, the MF Doom and J Dilla editions. Each month we'll bring on a guest and dig into why they love a certain Doom or JD track, and then test that love. How deep is that love? So expect some nostalgia right there. Next up, Wu-Tang Chronicles, Ghostface Killer Edition. We're aiming here, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but we're aiming to go through every solo Wu project, and we're going to start with Ghostface catalogue. So we're going to go in, we're going to talk about the music, we're going to talk about the fashion sense, and just some of the amazing bars he's dropped in that career. So you can expect that as well. And then for every patron who comes on, get your name on the credits, the Crate 808 credits, and in our Hall of Fame. So that'll be, I don't know how that's going to look right now, but we're going to give each of you a little bit of shine and a shout out on the show. And the Griselda Marathon, I want to do it. If we get enough patrons, we're going to do it. We're going to go through every single Griselda project and really let's dive in, yeah? So get involved. Hit up crate808.com, subscribe to the newsletter, as well as the YouTube and the podcast. Now, back to the episode. First of all, actually, did anyone ever get the Come Clean soap? Because I remember someone telling me about this, and because we were doing this episode,
really soap?
Man, there was.
Soap,
yeah, there was.
It was like a black soap.
Yeah, right?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's bugged out. That's banging, yo.
Mate, they even did condoms, bro. Come Clean. They gave you condoms.
Riding the wave of safe sex back then. The Nubian and Afrocentricity that was going on back then. They were definitely like riding that wave. He had Sherlin on, G. Mm-hmm. He had the denim Sherlin on and shit, the video and shit, the dread cap. Yep. It was a style thing with him to me because I wanted to grow my hair. I wanted a chew stick. I wanted to grow my hair. I wanted to be dirty rotten. Like I wanted that shit. My mom wouldn't let me, but it was definitely like it was on the radar for me for real.
That's mad. Yeah, because I remember the first time I heard Come Clean, and it just became really funny to me. And you guys probably aren't going to relate to this at all, but when he says like the first few lines, something like, it's funny. No, if you're feeling lucky, duck, right? He's obviously breaking up the words. Over here, duck is a term of endearment in Northern England. I remember him. Okay. I remember like you go, oh, how you doing, duck? Over here, we call men call each other ducks. It's really weird. Okay. But I remember when I heard Jeru do that, I was like, holy fuck, how does he know? Oh no, he's breaking the word up. But then it sticks in your head and you can't forget it, and it just makes you giggle. It's like, damn, he's talking Yorkshire. It's amazing. But that just made me laugh. But because Come Clean is that you were saying there about. I know one of you guys I think maybe Castro said that it was the first, maybe the last time you said that Preemo had that go around where, for me, just me personally, I feel like this is the only album where he's so weird. He's just weird through the whole thing.
He does make some curious things
later on.
You're right. And Group Home was very strange. Some of the instrumental pieces, maybe not what they rapped on Superstars, a little traditional, but like he was doing some little things. But I feel like he didn't want to, like, him and Guru, that's the meal ticket, right? So we're not going to put that stuff on those records because those are going to be all over the place and I don't want anybody asking questions. So, you know, I'm going to try the stuff with my group. I'm going to give the feature stuff like Biggie things and other stuff. I'm going to give him my signature. But like with his stuff, I always felt like, and I would tell this to Zilla, Premier was always like, he was going to experiment. He's going to get screwball. He's going to, you know, he's going to try these groups, these black, whatever that black group was. He's going to try that stuff out. And if he doesn't, he always felt like he could fall back, you know, to gang stuff. But if one of those things cracked, I think we would have saw something different with Premier. He like kind of wanted one of his own discoveries that he was responsible for to crack. I don't know if y'all agree with me on that.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think you sort of like hip to it when you said like Biggie got a Preemo sound. Right? Like Biggie kind of got his own Preemo sound.
Yes.
But after a while, people just were gravitating towards a specific Preemo sound. Like Biggie got his own chamber. Jay kind of got his own chamber.
That's the best to me. That's my favorite. The Rockefeller.
I think even like with Nas, like, and I know that you guys think I'm nuts on this, but like New York State of Mind too, to me, is like, oh, that's a Preemo beat. It's like, it's not like.
But Nas needed that. Nas needed that at that particular time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like that's the sound that everybody started wanting, and Preemo was like, all right, I'm just going to become an assembly line.
Right.
Of these types of beats that I'm going to give to people. Whereas like, you know, when he did like the Devin the Dude shit, even the shit he did with Christina Aguilera.
Oh God, that's so good.
Like, he went up. That shit is like not typical Preemo shit. I was shocked when I learned that was Preemo.
I was going to say, the one thing about this album as well, when I did hear it back, and obviously it's highly intelligent, you know, obviously it's got a hardcore heart on, you know, right at the heart of it, but the emphasis on being real. Like it feels different now to listen to an album where there's such emphasis, and obviously Wrath of the Math as well really takes that and runs with it. Yes. But like, yeah, like
but it was the monetization of it. Like, you know, to sell some records, he was I'm the real one. You know, all this other, you know, and that was, I mean, to me, that was even a bigger conflict than East and West Coast, quote unquote, beef. Was that Real versus Jiggy? Like that was serious. Cats was wearing puffy shirts with the Ghostbuster logo slashed through it. And so like you had to pick your side. Yeah. And you know, that's what Jeru was doing, like, and emphasizing it over and over again. And I think he took a slow jab at Das Effects too, because he said something about the sewer. Yeah. And shove you back down there and stuff like that.
There's a lot of these subs.
But I think he's but the whole like he's obsessed with authenticity. But that was also a big selling point, period, in major label rap at the time. And so he was on a team that was viable. So if you're not going to be like a gangster rap dude or the pimp dude or the crossover records, and we talked about on our Hammer project or episode, where Hammer and Vanilla Ice, everyone's like, oh, I don't want to be that. But if I make fun of it, I blow up. So it's a win-win for me because I may not get 15 million sales, but I can get 2 million saying I'm not that guy. So Jeru, I don't think he purposely was positioned to be that person all the time, but I think it was a winning formula to be like, we will make Come Clean a single and a video. We will give you these things because the concept of what you're saying is actually viable. You're just not going to do 7 million, but you could do 750,000. Talking that shit.
His lyrics was in direct conflict with what was classic gangster rap back then.
Right.
Remember, he would say, I'm not going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you with my mental. There was a lot of that, my intelligent bullets. There was a lot of that imagery. Like, but he said, but at the end of the day, I'll still bust you in your snot box. So there's threats of fight, but I'm not a gangster. And that was like how the same way that West Side Connection didn't like what Common was saying, because they would be they took it personal. If you're talking about gangster music back then, you're talking about us. You're talking about all of us and how we made music when it was our time. So there was that conflict. But again, he stood on his square like, you know, I'm not this gangster on all this stuff, but I'll bust you in your snot box, but I'm way more intelligent. And, you know, he was also trying to heal the community. Like what Dead Prez was doing a little later. He was dropping those gems about heal thyself, Black man come home. He had a lot of those type of themes going through Sunrises in the East, like just a black man reclaiming pride and not being so downtrodden, and black power isms. He had all going through there. It was coded, but if you look, he was talking about that a lot.
There's a lot of coding on this album, though. There is a lot of that subliminal stuff in his career generally, I feel. But did you guys ever recheck the Lauryn Hill chat? He's there. God, I can't remember who the mediator is. But there's like him, Lauren, and they're trying to chat through, well, basically where that culture is at that time. Is that I think it might have been before this album or maybe even after. I'm not sure, during. But I remember seeing that YouTube again for this episode.
She was on Fuji's, and she was still with the Fuji's during this interview thing you're talking about?
I don't know, because I don't know anyone else. She's on her own. She's riding solo in this interview. But I remember it going viral again a few years ago.
Really?
And
I never saw it.
Yeah, it went, I think it was about 2-3 years ago. It came back up again. And I think there's a Medium's article on it and stuff like that. And I remember at the time feeling like it doesn't look great when someone who's definitely they've all got points to prove, obviously, and ego is such a big thing in hip hop in the 90s. To make yourself known, to get by in life, you probably need that. But Lauren's like trying to say something and he's like talking over her, and then I don't really get any semblance of any cohesion in that whole chat, but it made me just think, God, like Jeru was like on it. Like this isn't just on like the album. Every day he's like that.
Aren't they like in a group of people?
Yeah, there's like
they're not like in a panel at a table. They're like standing
it's like
around.
A cipher almost.
And he was a domineering, like his MC persona. Also, how he wasn't public. I remember when he would speak.
Yeah,
he was
I saw that. Yeah,
I mean what I say, and I'm gonna say it once.
I mean, my understanding is he was an asshole.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
But that's my understanding is that he was an asshole.
Classic asshole, right. Like classic asshole,
classic.
Like in the hip hop arena, classic, run of the mill asshole in the hip hop arena. Difficult.
Yeah, just basically like, the type of person like you don't really want to hang around with.
Yeah.
Because he just,
Although he can, I'll be honest. I'll be honest, we saw him live, was it 2 years ago? And he still rocks that mighty, that power, that you were saying there about he only says it once and he's got that power. I tell you what, he didn't only say once, Castro. We were there and he was doing You're Playing Yourself, and the outro to You're Playing Yourself whilst we were watching him live went on for about 8 minutes. And he's going, You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. And I was like, he knows. No. He knows he's doing this, right? Like, he knows. This has gone on for like 5 minutes. It was at the end of it, I was just laughing.
That's a troll. That's an in-live troll. That's something
right?
I saw Keith Murray once do the most beautifulest thing in the world twice in a row.
Oh, wow.
And so he just rolled right into it. No,
boom, just back to back.
Yeah, wow. that's like early Watch the Throne. Remember they would do like N-words in Paris 11 times straight.
Oh, well, that was like a Funk Flex thing. Yeah, but Keith Murray, and there was four hooks on it. He said beautiful thing a lot. Yeah, he said a lot.
Long song.
It's a long song.
Apparently Jeru was like also like well seen a lot in like New York socialite bars all the time, where he was just kind of always in like very accessible bars anybody could be, and Jeru was just always like there.
He's just the people.
Just with people. You could like see him out, me and you getting the appetizer. Oh, there's Jeru the Damaja at the bar. Oh, next week we go back there. He is again.
Hey, Mr. Damaja.
Yes.
Try the Brussels sprout.
Hey, kids.
But I know when he went to Germany, like, I mean, he still released stuff. I remember he was putting his foot down out there. He was well established out there.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. It's Germany. It's not Russia. It's Germany.
It's Berlin, I think. I think he's in Berlin.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
We have we have categories generally, like our favorite bars and most rewindable moments. I think we've kind of seeped into all those anyway. But one thing I was going to say, if we're going on to Preemo a little bit, we talk about like 5 mic moments where you're like, that is a moment that they kind of hit their zenith. And I was thinking with Preemo, his run from say 93 to 95 might be the run. I was looking at it. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know where you guys are on Preemo and what you think maybe his best stuff is. I suppose it lands on the Gangstar things, but I don't know. Where do you guys? Where's your favorite Preemo kind of moments
on this album?
Well, on this album, on just general. I was thinking run. Yeah, like.
Damn, that's a good.
I think that last great project with KRS-One. That's a nice Preemo moment for me. Okay. Outside of like Groove Home. which is my favorite.
Yeah,
When he did Return of the Boom Bap.
That was about 94.
Yeah.
No, 93, right? That was before this. I think.
That was, but it was just such.
That came out the same day as 93 Till Infinity.
Oh damn!
It was such a concentrated effort. KRS-One actually sounded decent, and I was like, "This is pretty dope." And of course, KRS-One messed it up by never doing it again. That moment in my group home is like really just that's my bronze album.
I'm the youngest dude in our pod, and like all of my favorite personal Premier beats hit after that. So like All City, the actual, that's like 97 Premier. Invincible from CNN, like I love that beat.
Yes.
What's it called?
I was listening to that the other day.
That's like 99. Coming of Age from the beginning of Hard Knock Life with Bleak. I mean that beat. 10 Crack Commandments. Like all of that is like 97 on to 99 2000, but they're all one-offs for people rather than like this album. Like I love Jungle Music probably the most because it has an intro that's really interesting, then the sample and the beat, and then he does like everybody knows in the show, like I don't like the Premier 50,000 cut up words live from New York City, right from the Bronx, real hit. I don't like that. Like it's too, I hate those choruses because you can't repeat that. It's too many things versus him just being in the JUNGLE, in the JUN, in the JUNGL, like just one phrase Preemo choruses, because then it spawned everyone doing that who couldn't think of a hook. It's like, yo, deadly style, killer bars live from the streets because real hip hop is coming back. Like I think it's just lazy pastiche versus doing that, or even like Code of the Streets where he's just cutting up one sound. Yes, you know what I mean, or something like versus all of these. Here's 37 songs I heard this week. I'm gonna put them all in one hook. I'm like, nah, bro. In the JUNGLE, that's all I needed. Yeah, yeah.
Indeed.
There are elements of that stripped backness in this album, though, right? It doesn't feel like he's going fully like no massive flourishes. It's just like Come Clean's like that, isn't it? It's just very
restrained.
Yes,
it's very
even Come Clean. Heads up because we dropped a
Onyx, man.
That's it. One thing.
Love that Onyx.
Rather than come clean. Chinese water torture coming on your head right now. Live from Brooklyn. Nah,
yeah, the samples are sick.
Alaska.
I mean, I think 94 and 95 Preemo is the best Preemo. You got what do you got? You got fucking this record. You got the Hard to Earn. Is it Hard to Earn?
Yeah,
Hard to Earn.
Yeah.
You got his work on Illmatic. You got
there you go. Yeah.
The Rugged Never Smooth MOP joint. Unbelievable, Ready to Die.
Oh yeah.
And then in 95 he did the Showbiz AG Next Level Nighttime Mix, which is top 3 Preemo beat for me.
Buckshot the Funk.
He did First of the Month Preemo remix. He did Danger for Blasey Blah. The KRS stuff.
He didn't do Danger. He didn't do Danger.
He did a remix for Danger.
He did a remix.
And then Group Home is right in there. So it's like that sort of window is just
it's sick.
And you could even throw in like 96 too, but he just did a lot of really dope shit.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
In that period.
Return of the Clicking
Dodge. And of course Buckshot LaFunk, which is what everybody calls when they think of Preemo, Buckshot LaFunk.
I love that.
I remember knowing of Buckshot LaFunk because me and Castro were, not friends yet, obviously, but one of the Buckshot LaFunk songs was in one of the NBA Superstar VHS tapes. Oh, right. And they somehow got one of the Buckshot LaFunk songs.
Is?
Yeah, for
it's
Muggsy
like
Bogues or something. It's like Muggsy Bogues and Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson. There's like Buckshot LaFunk in the whole background while they're doing alley-oops.
I actually bought that record too. I was like, oh man, it's going to be Preemo and jazz musicians. It's going to be great.
He was trying it.
Not.
He was trying it. I like the fact that he experimented at that time. I've been listening to a lot of DJ Quick recently, and I've been like, DJ Quick was just so experimental. Like he just had no restraint. He was just going off on one, and I feel like I like that Preemo. I like that guy, but
I think he was still doing this album, like you're saying. This is a lot of it was still trying to figure out, because when you listen to the first 2 Gangstar albums, it's very much like an 80s rap album, then like a jazz rap album, and then it starts becoming like Gangstar, Guru, Premier.
Yeah.
And then I think the more reps he started getting away from Guru, like doing Unbelievable, all those other records, by the time he hits Group Home Jeru, he's like, oh, I can pull all these kind of records and make it my thing, rather than like, this beat sounds like a Lord Finesse beat. This beat sounds like a Nice and Smooth beat. This beat sounds like a Flavor Unit beat. This beat sounds like some Us Three shit. You know, he could kind of bend everything into his wheel. I think this is like the beginning of that. And like, but then what Alaska said, it then became like on a Subway restaurant. Like you're gonna walk in, you're gonna get the number 3 Preemo. With the chips and the Nest tea, because that's what you just want. You know what I mean?
It's a beautiful moment in his career. What about Wrath of the Math then for you guys? Like, what about the album? How do you guys feel about that album off the back of it?
I like that album a lot. I like Wrath of the Math a lot.
I've never listened to
Wrath of the Math is the bomb. I love Wrath of the Math. It's like in the evolution of the style they were trying out.
Yes.
And there's some part 2s on there. A couple of songs are continuations of other things. It was just like them just still like scraping the resin out that chamber.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like, it might've been too scientific for cats. Cause I remember getting it and you were thinking you were getting this more Premier steep thing, and it wasn't exactly that. The sound was like a little surprising to people, because people wanted something. They wanted, Sunrise and East Part 2, and that Wrath of the Math is not that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember the video being out. I remember seeing You Playing Yourself video, or Me or the Papes. One of them, I saw those videos a lot more than I saw.
I thought so.
Any videos.
Yeah, the one he did, redoing the Asian.
The
Kung Fu.
Yeah, Kung Fu.
I think that's Playing Yourself.
That's like a 9-minute video or something. I remember that video.
Yeah, it's long.
Long video. But great. I love that shit. The fact that he samples Fist, I don't know if you guys are fans of Fist of the North Star, but I fucking love Fist of the North Star.
And Fist of the North Star is dope.
But the fact that he started this whole album off that, I didn't catch that for a while, but then when I got older, I was like, oh, yes, of course. It depends
on how you watch Fist. If you watch it with dubs, or if you're watching it, you know what I'm saying? It might not ring true. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much the American dubs of most of those international pieces were all like the same. And there wasn't like too many different ones. But I like certain ones you might hear, and they might have changed the voice here and there or something like that. Whereas opposed to like Transformers is just Transformers,
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah, because that was like one of my favorite sample flips generally. I know the sample flips on here are crazy, but the fact that you can just use that, and yeah, it just sets it off so nicely. I was actually going to ask you guys as well about The Bitches and what you guys think of that song now when you hear it.
Yo, you know what's funny, man? Yo, straight up.
The beat is
number one. That's like one of the hardest trumpet beats of all time.
I was thinking about it being horn on it. It's so great.
It's like sped all the way
down. Like the guy that plays it at the park that people play chess at. Like cats that play chess, he's just over there playing it in the back.
It sounds like the horn was drinking.
You know what I mean? The horn's
that joint is. I was thinking about they slowed it. That's much faster on the original break, but I was thinking about sharing this record with a younger millennial that works for me. I'm an OG millennial. Thank you. He would. My first instinct was, if I let him hear this album, he's gonna mall cop me about the bitches. Be like, that has not aged well, and it's not appropriate. And
he's not even gonna get past the first verse of "Come Clean."
I know.
That's true.
So that's
true.
Flambe. Full stop. What do you got me listening to, Zilla?
Yeah. And so when I'm listening, but he even says, he's like, this is not for the queens. What? It's for the bitch. Like, he's giving you a discretional statement saying, hello, 95% of women we deal with, the song is not applied to.
Yeah.
It's a small percentage who I'm going at. And I remember like when Jay did the outtake joint for Blueprint 2.
Yeah,
where,
Sisters and Bitches.
Oh yeah,
This is the greatest song.
But the Bitches is the East Coast version of Bitches Ain't Shit.
Right. But that one was
so
just
it's like but they're like, they always say, and the disclaimer was, hey, this ain't about you. It's not about you.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I think it felt
but
weirder.
Everybody knew.
Sorry, go on.
Knew a chick. People knew a chick that fit that category. So that's why they was like, all right.
Yeah, because it sounds weirder when I know it shouldn't, but if a guy's talking about enlightenment, talking about pushing the community forward, all that. I think that's why it sounded weirder at that time to me.
Yeah.
Because on a West Coast rap song, it was like, oh, it's West Coast. It's all right. We're very naive over here. Like, there's ignorance to it all. And then you start realizing, oh, right, why am I double judging everything? But yeah, no, I just wondered where you guys were at with it, because the beat is sick, but I was like, he does make a disclaimer and he won't change that. He plays it live.
What's the Rap for the Math version?
That one's Me or the Papes, bro.
Yeah.
That's almost like a Biggie song. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah.
Like, are you about me, or are you about me because I have money right now? Which is,
there's a lot of parallels, even though they were like, rivals. There's a lot of parallels. I would throw Nas in there, a little three-way going on right at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nas, Biggie, and Jeru. Yeah.
Did you? I didn't even know this till I started just doing a bit of research for this episode, and I was like, I didn't even know he rhymed on the 10 Crack Commandments first. I didn't know that. These little subs are everywhere. That's what
it was. Cash, remember I was talking to you about that? Where
there was a radio promo. That's a radio promo for Hot 97.
And Puffy heard it.
Puffy heard it. But and the reason it didn't stick to Jeru is because he's doing like radio stuff in there.
Yeah.
He's mentioning the radio station that it's a drop.
6 p.m.
Yeah, he's talking about like the drive at 5 or something like that. He mentions like a specific radio thing. So it was just a promo. That was it. It's interesting that
Biggie was smart enough to be like, no, take that down. Give me that entire beat. Whereas Jeru was like, oh, that's a cool thing for the radio.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you never heard that radio promo again. I bet
if you didn't live in New York for them 3 months when it was on, you never heard that joint.
Damn, that's crazy.
And they were probably rotating through, because it's funny that Premier was using original beat for that. Like, those promos are all over the place. People did drops, that all the time.
That's wild. Because I know that I think was it Praz who dropped him a sub on Zealots, or I think it was Praz, or was it Wyclef? I can't remember. But yeah, you hear all these like little, like you said, the coding. There's so much like where he was right in the mix of it, and they were like going at each other, and pretty crazy. I don't know if I.
What did he say on Zealous?
It's about false prophets or something.
Yes.
And,
you still a false.
That's
still a false prophet. Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter who you damage, you're still a false prophet.
Yes. That's it. Yeah. And do you remember the prophet video? The animated thing.
The little 2D panorama stuff. Oh, I love
that. That was wild.
Think about that at the time when Clef said that album wasn't Diamond yet. So he was basically like punching up, kind of hating. Because their first album, Blown on Reality, is truly one of the worst pieces of music I've ever listened to in my entire.
But where did Fuji's take it personal what Jeru was saying for him to step to that, or was he
maybe he was going at Lauren?
I don't know. That
like little spot wherever they were. Whatever it was.
Or maybe it was
they were
the
definitely
bitches. I don't know. To be fair, I'm just guessing here. I'm just guessing.
But I'm just saying. But like because they were coming back like they were retaliating. Because I remember when Pride did say that, it was like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. But at the time, they were nothing. They were totally nothing. So I feel like that was like them trying to stunt and get a little buzz on them. But then they end up just blowing up and leaving him in the dust. Yeah.
And just before I move on to my next little category, can I just give a quick shout out to RZA's laugh? Because I love that laugh on Tears. And the fact that he used it on Ain't the Devil Happy, where I was like, fuck, yes, that is such a nice little, little cookie, ear cookie.
But that's what Z was saying, like using the laugh, Ain't the Devil Happy, ha, ha, ha. That's better than, ha, laughing, devil, Beelzebub,
Yes.
Beelzebub. Nothing stuff at least chuckled. Ha 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 ha. Yo, straight from the New York jungle. Ha ha.
You know what I'm saying? Please, man.
Oh man, love that.
Dante's Inferno. Like, stop.
What did you guys think of the artwork? Because I mean, New York, did that hit differently? Did that hit differently when that artwork dropped? Because that was after the World Trade Center did have a bombing.
Yeah, but everybody was there was an apocalyptic foreboding going on with a lot of people's artwork. So like to see New York burning, he's like, I'm giving you the warning. Yeah. There was a bunch of that like warning type stuff. Trying to think of anybody like, Buster was coming around with his warnings and stuff like that. So there was definitely like scenes of the city burning. That wasn't that original. Wrath of the Math was like, that's my artwork. I love that joint with the glow and orb.
That's sick.
I felt like he was elevating on that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I've loved this chat. It's been great. I just wanted to talk a bit about the pod, though. I did need to talk about culture as a pod because I've said how much of a big fan I am. How are you guys enjoying it? Are you guys been doing about 2 years now, right? So how are you?
Wow.
Well, I don't know. Is it more? I don't know, but it feels like a long time. I've been listening for a while. So.
It might be 2.5 because we didn't go live at first. We were doing a lot of beta testing.
Oh,
we did
nice.
beta testing for like 6 months and built up a bank of episodes before we went live.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I think about the one consistent thing I have to do every week is the pod. So it's become pretty much a staple. We appreciate having the platform. Like, we're just glad that like 1 or 2 people listen to us, much less what our listenership actually is. And we're able to, take the conversations that we would have under some normal circumstances and, broadcast it to the folk. Like, me and Z used to talk on the phone every morning when he was on his way to work and I was on my way to work about basketball, hip hop, and money. And then it was like, then him and Alaska started getting cool and having similar conversations, but like through texting and stuff like that. And Alaska came up with this great idea. So, hey, let's do a pod. And me and Z had some false starts, some aborted pods before that. So this was like the perfect thing.
Damn. Because if that's your conversation, because it feels like it's your conversations normally, but it's almost like I need a fucking notepad or something every time. Like, I tend to listen to a lot of pods when I'm shaving or getting ready, and it's really annoying that you're dropping these gems. Like, I remember there was one of the cannabis one where you're talking about, and how have I never known there's a DMX cannabis like CD, or like where
that's lore.
Oh no,
that's lore. That's
at my dad's house.
Yeah,
I probably still have it
because it was such a thing up on the East Coast because. Mixtapes were a thing, but this one thing had all of their stuff on one disc. So that one was running around like fire.
Right. Yeah,
it was gold. Yeah.
Gold
Somebody
discs.
corrected us. It wasn't a CDR, but it was like gold disc and it had like typing on it, like burn typing on it.
Chumzilla pointed out. Shouts to Chum. Yeah, I think the coolest thing about our pod to me is like we take it seriously, like we're organized in terms of like what our topic's going to be, booking people, posting on Patreon, artwork. But then as soon as we record it, it's like we're good now at running it like a show in terms of like taking breaks and shit. But overall, it's the same thing as me talking to Castro at 7:15 in the morning in the car, and then while I'm driving, same time, almost killing myself, texting Alaska about something, and then we have a separate group text. Yeah, you don't talk on the phone. So.
Yeah, no, he's oh god, no.
No, he's so weird.
Our text thread is like legendary. I thought we should.
I'll text these guys and be like, "Can you believe this motherfucker keeps calling me? Why do they keep calling?
If we ever did a call out culture pop up, the wallpaper would be our text thread because it's crazy. It's crazy.
But I think my favorite part too is like whatever topic we're on, we. Usually like 3/4 of the way through, someone will have a breakthrough that no one thought or considered. And we're like, oh, that's why we're talking about this thing. That one thing you just figured out after 27 years and an hour and a half, you nailed it, whoever. Yeah, but that's so true. That revelations comes, like the Ghostface Killer chat. I know I tweeted this, but that's one of my favorite Ghostface Killer chats, and it's made me more of a fan of Ghostface Killer. That's the weird thing. It's like, shit. Oh yeah, of course, it makes sense like a bit more now, and I mean,
our first claim to fame was our ties to like Def Jux lore and stuff from Alaska being a member. For sure. But our epiphany episode was the Nas episode where Alaska came with the spreadsheet. That's when I knew that was my Seinfeld, moment when like, hey, we got something here. Like that's when I knew we had something. Alaska had this detail. He's never been this prepared for episode ever, but he had a whole spreadsheet.
I don't think I've ever been that prepared for anything in my life.
to destroy me and Zilla's halcyon images of Nas, and he was like determined. He had the sniper rifle.
Alaska put on a job interview suit that day. He put some breath freshener on his mouth.
I feel like William Garrison in the JFK movie coming in and being like, back and to the left.
Yeah, Illmatic is actually overrated. Secret Service earpiece. He's like, yes, I'm getting more information. Nas did not record that at D&D. No, he did not. Like he was going in on us, and that's why I was like, all right. We got something special here.
That's gold.
But it's just the I like in Alaska. I want you to expound like what's your favorite? Mine is like our camaraderie with our fan base and our Patreon. That's really a great relationship, and it's mutually beneficial. And since we're all artists there, it's good to have a lab that you can like test things out on people, even if they don't know before the public gets it.
That's it.
I mean, I think the thing I enjoy most is like I'm at an age where like a lot of my friends don't like talking about rap music anymore, or they just have stopped listening to rap music. Like they're still like, man, Return to the Boom Bap, still the greatest record ever. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, their favorite rapper is like Redman from
Or Mike Geronimo.
You know, yeah, exactly. Not, you know, not that Redman's a bad rapper, but it's like it's based off of like 93 is where they stopped listening to music. So the fact that I get to have these conversations with people that are still passionate about it and know so much, it's like it's just really rewarding to like be friends with these guys and talk with these two guys.
Yeah, man. Have you got any more ideas in the pipeline? Like, I love Lineage of Greatness. I kind of love the Cannabis lineage of like sadness.
We're gonna
like
do a curious case.
Dreams.
It was first Lineage of Broken Dreams, but we turned to the Curious Case. But we'll probably keep the Curious Case of whoever's like just whose career is just like we're definitely gonna do one on G-Dep and his unfortunate circumstances and like like so not just like him failing, but like God damn it, getting with a wolf like Puffy and then his crisis of conscience. Like he's a very unique rapper, and then we'll probably talk about Loon in that episode and what Loon did. Just those type of pathways, because we like to bring that stuff up. Me and Z, Alaska a little bit too. We're like, well, you have neighborhood basketball cats that you kind of follow when they're young, and for whatever reason, something goes wrong on the track. It's very difficult to follow a cat all the way, and they all make it. You know, people watch that movie Hoop Dreams and stuff. So we follow rappers that like just tripped up on the track, you know, and nothing wrong with it, but a J Treads, a cat that what are they doing? Cool Complete, what are they up to? And we'll just go reverse engineer and just figure it out. Some of them are just as active as they were, but just it's a different game and it's a different avenue. People don't even like Dose One. People don't even know he's video gamed out. He does music. He makes video games from scratch, you know, and people would not think that Dose, see how, you know, if he's even active. And we like to bring light to that. We like to bring light to artists that intrigue us. We don't have to claim it, but there's definitely a couple of artists that people discovered through our show. And that one is the super beneficial.
Yeah, I love it.
Prize that's the best shit.
Yeah.
And I think we like to have conversations that like typical rap shit doesn't talk about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it's not even like, you know, who's the greatest, this person, that person, or that person. It's like, you're fucking wrong about this opinion that you have. And here's why you're fucking wrong. And we're going to have like a spreadsheet. But you know what I'm saying? Like we could go into that, or we can just like dig into the archives of like, this is like one of the greatest performances. Like we talk about Subcon a lot on the podcast. Like he comes up all the time and it's like, the dude had a couple like CDs, but he put out this single that's still one of like the most, at least in my mind,
that's one of the greatest,
most legendary like 3-song singles ever released, and it's like people don't even know about it.
Wow,
right?
So there's so many stories like that.
Speak on the legend,
like, that are out there. That's these artists that like they don't have the long-term impact, but they did hit something that's better than stuff that people with gigantic careers that we adore and worship ever did, and like they never even came close to that shit.
Yeah, because the hip hop universe is so big. And I remember over here, you always had to get it through funnels of radio or magazines or print or whatever. And now it's so big, the universe, that things get lost. And I feel like it's quite nice having you guys, Dad Bod, Rap Pod. There's quite a few
Zilla
podcasts.
will keep Sauce Money's career alive if it's the last thing he does.
What album? Oh, on Prem Rock and Fresh Kills album. I said that I was like, with me, I floss monthly, and now my 16s are Sauce Money. Like I still keep. He is the worst album I ever bought with cash, but I still. He's got like 4 great verses, and I'm like, that's all I really needed from Sauce Money. And then he clapped at me on Twitter one day. I didn't even add him. I'm like, Sauce Money made the worst CD ever. He was like, damn, fam, really? And I was like, bro, you took my cash.
Twitter cats have a way of finding Zilla's innocuous tweets. You don't add.
I don't add people. I'm not trying to like.
And like architect, the producers
the
on Immobilarity
from Immobilarity cut at me like 2 years later. They were like, because I said I was like, that's the worst follow up of all time, and they were like, yeah, well, we weren't trying to make a woo album. I was like, you sure weren't.
Goddamn weren't.
It was a Ray album, wasn't a woo album. I was like,
but these people really. So we know we have an effect. We also are aware of people.
Well, Lord have mercy got at me too, because I texted one time I tweeted like I was like Curly Castro had beef for Rock Marcy for 15 years because of Lord have mercy being kicked out of flip mode, and then 2 years later Lord have mercy's like there was no beef between us. Like he just decided that we didn't add him.
But that,
Lord have mercy
goes
has no
to
problem
show
with Rock Marcy.
that we have like one of the big gratifying moments of our pod is like LP communicating to us that he heard the episode we did about what Company Flow Fun Crusher.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
And
Our first
it's funny because we were talking about Fun Crusher, the album, not LP specific or Big Just specific or Company Flow. We were, loading the album, and he said it brought a lot of memories back to him.
That's wicked, man. That must feel amazing.
So that part is dope.
Damn.
But the episode we had with Opio from not Opio,
that was cool. I forgot about
Tajay.
Tajay. We had Tajay from Souls of Mischief.
Wicked.
Yeah.
And he look, if you want to put somebody on, interview that man. This is that's one of the greatest hip hop interviews you could ever conduct.
Wicked.
He doesn't even have to say a word. He'll just go off.
Is it? Okay. I mean,
and it's so elegant and organized. Like he knows how to sell his history and talk about his present day. It's really great. You go a lot of good places with Tajay.
Man, there's all these figures like that. Like we had Slim Kid Trey on, and that was a chat which was like, that was just a chat where you're just like, this guy's so interesting. It's not even about music. It's about other things. And I love that. I love that. And I think that's just a good rounded listen from you guys. I always get that. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your time coming on today as well, doing this. But I was going to say, Castro, when are you getting Diddy on? Because after your Puffy line on Haram, I'm waiting for. I'm waiting because that line, bro, it hit me over the head. I was like, holy shit.
As I'm telling people, there were probably words that all interns and employees of Puff are not allowed to say in the office or in his spare. One of those is J-Lo, Sean Poe. Don't say Puffy or Puff Daddy. That name has been retired. And probably, Christopher Wallace. Like you can't say that in the office. So I imagine a bunch of interns rushing to the radio to press pause or skip if it ever comes out. If it ever starts playing, they got a chance.
I told you that I interned for him for one day once, right?
Did you?
For one day? No, you didn't. What happened?
So my friend from college used to be his assistant, this woman named Norma. And she got me a job at Bad Boy, being an intern. So I was already working a full-time job, and I showed up like Friday night, boom, I showed up. I get to the studio. I'm sitting in the studio for like 4 hours waiting for somebody to come in. It's just me and the engineer, and he's like the salty engineer who doesn't talk or anything. Puffy would like come in, and then he would leave. He'd come in, then he would leave. And I had to keep getting ice chips because he liked ice chips when he rapped. But he ended up like he has an apartment, at least at this place, he had an apartment off of like the studio and office. And he was having this big party in there. So he just decided not to come out. So I just, I was there for like 8 hours from like 5 till like 2 in the morning or some shit like that.
Right.
And I ended up just like typing some labels for cassettes that they were going to send out. Shine rolled up and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, I'm good. How are you?" And then they're like,
"This is a crazy story."
Shine turned up.
I mean, it's not that crazy. It was just like, it was so weird. Like I come back, they're like, "Come back tomorrow." So I came back at 2. They're like, "Come back at 2 tomorrow." I showed up at 2 and they were like, "There's nothing on the schedule today. I don't know why you're here. Come back again at 5. So I was like, all right. It was, remember like the $3 movie theater over on like 49th Street?
Yep.
It was over by that. So I went to catch a movie there and I came out.
They played movies that were a little bit later than when they came out.
Yeah. So I went back at 5 and they're like, "No, there's nothing on the schedule. Why don't you come back at 8? And I was like, fuck you, I quit. And I left.
He ain't play. Don't play with my yo-yo. You got me rolling out to the street.
I was like, I already got a job. I don't need this shit.
You're not even giving me nothing to do. I just want to see how many times I can get you to come back. Nah, man.
Exactly. I think that's what it was.
At 9 o'clock, what are you going to do? You're going to lick envelopes? What the fuck are you doing at 9
And then my friend called me the next day, was like, "I can't believe you did that." I was like, they're wasting my time.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
And I was like super underground at that time too. So I was like, man, fuck all them.
You know what I'm saying? All them tokens in your pocket, you ain't spending another token to roll out and come back.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. If I left mid, if I was with you, where was the office?
It was like over like in like the theater district somewhere. Like I don't remember exactly where.
I'm leaving. I'm not coming back over there.
No, hell no.
Shit.
Damn. Right. So we're going to have an anti-Puffy podcast in the works at some point. We're going to...
I doubt he'll hear it, but if he hears it, he needs to take a hard swallow because there's some truth. I'll tell you that much.
Big, man. Well, guys, thank you again for this chat. It's been sick. I've really enjoyed it. I can't wait to just hopefully do a few more of these. It'd be great to get you guys back on.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, I was going to ask you then before we round it all up. What's the last great piece of music you've heard? Could be old, could be new. Just the last great piece where you're like, fuck, man, that is so good. It can't be Jeru because we've been talking about Jeru. So
it's
it's Haram just came out. So there
Haram, obviously.
I'm
there we go.
unfamiliar.
What's your track off there that you're loving? I know there's quite a few, but
Chickarones. I love Quelle.
Yeah, is that Quelle on that? Yeah.
And it's it's just the layers to that track, because they could be talking about cops, they could be talking about the other white meat.
Yes,
talking about the other white meat. I really like Chickarones. That's one of my favorites.
Loving that.
I've been banging this British R&B girl, Mahalia. His album called
I heard about
Compromise, bro. She flips. There's like 3 older songs she flips, older now meaning like our generation, where she flips like a Dipset joint. She flips like you want a freak, a freak. She flips that joint, but overall she's just like I just been so burned out from East Coast boom bap, no hooks, no drums for like the last 4 years, where I'm going back to like super melodic, polished shit. And I kind of found her on Apple Music. This record, she's like 19 or 20 or something like that. This album is amazing. It's just, the writing is so dope. I mean, I think Terrace Martin's on here. But yeah, Mahalia, Love and Compromise from 2019.
Sick. Love that.
Shouts to the UK.
Love that.
I don't know, man. I don't listen to that much.
He doesn't listen
Is
to
it just
music.
been one last thing you heard? It could be old.
He only listens to spreadsheets.
I'm gonna say the Ezra Collective, Juan Pablo the Philosopher.
Okay, Ezra Collective. Have you ever seen them live?
No, I never did. They played out here once and I missed it.
Oh man, yeah.
Why you gotta pick something that they have to type into the search box like the whole word? Like it's not even gonna auto-populate after easy and shit. Come on.
He's right.
Well, they should find it. Put some effort into it. The Ezra Collective is dope.
They are dope. I've heard a few things. Yeah, man, that's sick. That's sick.
Great.
Well, guys, I appreciate you all, and yeah, man. Until the next time, we'll flip it up, and hopefully we do another album or whatever. Just jump on, man.
All right,
On our show, man.
Doors always open.
Shabam Sadiq.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man.
I'll hit you up.
No doubt. Thanks for having us.
Thanks,
Peace.
brother. You feel
Thank you
better,
for having
man.
us, man.